What's up, guys? Mike here with Cards Who Sports Cards. How do you deal with customers on eBay who are rude, unfriendly, and maybe downright trying to scam you? Now, this video is not going to be some type of rant video where I talk about somebody who tried to rip me off, but we're going to look at 6 tips and some example situations that could come up for you as a seller, and how to deal with those situations in a way that doesn't hurt your business, but also gives you the freedom to defend yourself as a seller. Before we jump in, if you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead in the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. All right, first tip here, and if you've worked in the restaurant or hospitality industry like I have, then you are familiar with this one, and that is the customer is not always right. Actually, the saying goes the customer is always right, and what we really mean when we say that is the customer is always the customer, meaning they should always be treated as someone who is willing to open up their wallets and spend money on your product. But here's the thing, customers can lie. Customers can rip you off. They can say they didn't receive the card, but they did. How do you still treat them like the customer in these cases? Let's just say someone buys one of your cards. You ship it through the eBay standard envelope program. 2 weeks go by and you get that ever so friendly message, "Where's my card?" "Well, hi, how are you? Thank you so much for the purchase." "Where's my card?" So you look at the tracking. You show it was delivered. Are they lying? What do you do? The challenge with buyers saying they have or haven't received cards shipped through the eBay standard envelope program is that the tracking isn't always reliable. In some cases it says it's delivered, but it's not. In some cases it shows it's not delivered, but the buyer receives it. So how do you know if they're lying or not? The answer on how to deal with this scenario is in the next tip, which is to choose your battles. Now, if someone says they haven't received a card, before anything, I ask them if they don't mind waiting a few more days just to see if the card will arrive. And most of the time I've done this, the card does arrive. Sometimes the tracking just shows it's delivered, or the way it's scanned at the post office shows it's delivered before it actually gets there. But here's a dark secret that's really not a secret. Every business has customers that steal from them and customers who try to get free stuff. We've all done it. And if someone says they didn't receive a $2 card where maybe I make 20 or 30 cents profit, I'm sorry, I don't have time to argue with you. I'm likely going to refund the card because it's not that much money. That doesn't mean I still won't maybe ask them to wait a few days and try all those initial tips and tricks, but I'm likely going to end up refunding the card if they say they haven't received it because it's not that much money. And if you're the one trying to rip off the seller here, I mean, you're kind of just a sad person that getting a $2 free card is that important to you. Now, if this card was $6, $7, $10 plus, I mean, that's a different story. For cards that are a little bit more expensive, you have some more options before you just say, here's a refund. But for low end cards, $2 cards, I usually don't think much about it. But here's the thing, I've probably only had 5, maybe 10 max times that this has happened when I've sold over 2,000 cards. Now, if it started to happen a lot more, or it started to happen a lot like with the same buyer, that's a different story. And look, it's not all let everyone take advantage of you and give away free stuff, because the next tip is you're allowed to block buyers on eBay. If I suspect someone is trying to rip me off, you're getting added to my blocked buyers list. I don't care if it's a card for 99 cents or $99. If someone knows they can take advantage of you, they're going to try to do it again. It's always hard to know for sure here what somebody's motivations are, so I really try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but if I suspect ill intent, you might get added to my blocked buyers list. Next tip here, which is more of a comment really, and that some people are just mean. There is a lot of good people in this hobby, but there are also a lot of people who are really mean and who have 0.0% messaging and email etiquette. Now, there's often a common theme that most eBay sellers are garbage, and I think some buyers approach it that way when they're messaging sellers about their orders. Almost a preconceived notion where they're thinking, okay, here's another seller who tried to screw me over, another seller who said the card was shipped and then let it sit for 2 weeks before they actually brought it to the post office. So I do think that affects the interaction in a negative way before it even starts. But despite that, you might get messages that don't include a hi or a hey. It might just be, "Where's my card? Did you send? Haven't received. Card damaged." I'm sorry, how do you communicate when you go to a restaurant? Are you a robot? And you were worried about ChatGPT taking over our lives. Did you guys hear that? If you receive a message with this tone, try to pay it as little mind as you can. I always try to respond with a very kind, "Hi there, thanks so much for the order." It feels really weird, but you do have to kind of tap into your customer service voice here to some extent. Now again, that doesn't mean you have to take a bunch of crap from mean sellers and let people walk all over you, which leads us to the next tip, and probably the one I feel the most strongly about. And that is, do not take unsolicited advice. Especially as a new seller, if you're just getting into this, do not listen to a single person someone sending you unsolicited advice on eBay about how to run your business. Quite frankly, don't even take it on any of your social media platforms if you have a YouTube channel. Now look, that doesn't mean if you're asking for comments or people giving you tips and tricks about, hey, this thing worked for me on some of those other mediums, depending on the time and place, depending on the situation, depending on if you've asked for them or not. But on eBay, it is not the time nor the place. You might get messages that say, hey, your listing is wrong. Or one time I remember somebody told me, your prices are ruining the hobby. You know what ruins the hobby? People who think they know everything and think that giving unsolicited business advice on eBay to other sellers is better for the hobby. Hey, if you want to share your thoughts, start a YouTube channel. But if you're a seller and you receive messages like this, even comments like I said on your social media or YouTube, again, if you've asked for it, then expect those comments. But if you receive these unsolicited, particularly when they include a negative tone about how you are doing something damaging to the hobby or how you made some egregious error, you don't have to accept this. I know sometimes as a new seller, you're a little bit more shy. You're afraid to rock the boat. You're not rocking the boat, sticking up for yourself. So ignore all of that. Usually if I get rude, unsolicited messages on eBay, pretty much just add those people to my blocked buyers list. So don't take any of that. You can deal with it how you choose, but the main point here, the main point if you remember nothing else from this video, is I don't want you to think that these people are the leaders of the hobby or that this is how the hobby is or this is the voice of the hobby. There are really good people in this hobby who will give you kind, constructive feedback on your business when the situation calls for it, which is not unsolicited messages on eBay. These people are insecure about themselves and their business, and they're trying to make themselves feel better by trying to take you down a notch and pass their hate onto somebody else. So do not accept that for 1 second. And the last thing here, looking at the opposite side, is do your part and don't be a crappy seller. Again, a lot of buyers are expecting terrible service up front because there are a lot of bad sellers on eBay. How do you not be a bad seller? It's not rocket science. Just be decent. Be honest. Don't try to rip people off. Ship your cards within your shipping and handling window. If a card arrives damaged and you can clearly see that it's damaged from a picture that the buyer sends you and it wasn't damaged when you shipped it, refund the card. The buyer didn't buy a damaged card. They got one. They didn't get what they paid for. Refund the card. Respond to people as promptly as you can. Be professional. Doing your part as well, I believe, will help the industry as a whole eliminate some of these preconceived notions that buyers and sellers have about each other, and I think will get us to a better state. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you find these tips helpful for your business. As always, take what works for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to unlock the secrets of selling and investing in low-end sports cards on eBay, this channel is your go-to source for expert tips, honest insights, and strategies to help boost your eBay sales. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button for me if you want to stay ahead in the card selling game, maximize your profits, and take your eBay card selling business to the next level. You can also check out my other channel at Puck Mike, where I open and talk about hockey cards. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.